Calico's probably one of the biggest winners of the patch. She just got a lot of quality of life changes, which I think is really all she needed. Her numbers are not actually that bad. It's just that her spells were really awkward to hit before. Now her spells are going to be a lot more generous as far as the hitbox, right? So Leaping Slash now has a much higher vertical hitbox. So this can matter when you're trying to hit enemies that are, for example, on bridges like this. Now it's going to be much more generous with the vertical hitbox as far as like, you know, how close you need to be to the target and like how accurate you need to be with Leaping Slash. It's going to be a little bit more forgiving, which is good. On top of that, Gloom Bomb's radius also got increased, so now there's a much bigger radius, which makes it a lot easier to poke people in lane with Gloom Bombs, as the explosion radius is increased by 0.5 meters, which is pretty significant. And you've got a Return to Shadows buff two ways. They nerfed the cooldown by 10, sorry, they buffed the cooldown by decreasing it by 10 seconds. And they also made the AoE bigger from 7 meters to 7.5 meters. And this thing actually is like actually massive, by the way. You know, like this is really, really, really big. And especially if you get any sort of range, you know, it might be interesting to go something like Greater Expansion, because then your ult is like actually huge, right? And it's basically unmissable, you know, even through walls as you get to 10 meters, which is a massive AoE. I'm going to skip the Doorman and Drifter changes as they're mostly fairly insignificant, just some, you know, quality of life changes. So I'm not going to talk about them for the sake of time efficiency. Dynamo got some very, very small changes as well. Namely, his kinetic, you know, his one ability goes slightly higher. Kind of a nothing change as well. And his spirit scaling on his 3 got improved very slightly as well. So mostly nothing.